This is Anna Wilson. She twice ended the season at the top of the World Cup rankings. She's been Australian National Road Champion and Time Trial Champion. Anna, we're going to go for a ride so we can edit down your CV and then head into £15 to have a coffee to talk about that road title. Let's start with the national road title that you won in 2000. You only won the road title once. I was surprised. I thought you would have won it more often.
I know, well, and I had my chances because I'd won the time trial title already a couple of times by 2000.
Yeah.
And I really should have won the road race a couple of times, but just for one reason or another, you know, the race didn't pan out the way it should have.
Yeah, yeah.
And I stuffed up the sprint in '98 when Kathy Watt won. So yeah, I had my chances, but in 2000 it was like, you know, in '99 I'd got 2 silver medals at the Road Worlds.
Yeah.
Like, come on, I have to be able to win a national title if I can get medals at Worlds.
Well, let's talk about those World Championships. You were second in the time trial by 4 seconds, and then you were second in the road race as well.
Yeah.
But you won the bunch sprint, and it was a breakaway. Putin Sky won by 18 seconds. Desperately unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the form of my life for those Worlds. '99, everything really came together for me, and I had really good training leading into Worlds. And yeah, I remember riding the time trial, and it started on a little cobbled street. I remember Michael Rogers, they'd gone, I guess he was riding under 23 then, so he'd ridden before me. And he said, you know, you go down this cobbled street and then there's this tight right-hander, and there was a metal grate on the right-hand bend. And he said, I think he said, you need to go under it. And I, like, powered down the first straight. I saw the grate and I went, oh my God, I'm not going under it, I'm going around it. And then I was like, I just grazed the barriers on the other side, and I headed off. I thought, well, no one can do that faster than I just did.
So I've just gained a second.
I've just gained a second.
But you got beaten by Van Moorsel,
Yeah.
one of the absolute greats of women's cycling.
Yeah, exactly.
She's in the top 3. Her, Longo and Voss, probably the best 3 female cyclists of all time.
Yeah, so I mean, it was certainly no disgrace. And for me, that was a breakthrough because I'd never had a medal at Worlds before. So to get silver, I was overjoyed. But there was a moment when I was sitting waiting for Leontine Van Moorsel to come in, and someone said, "You've won," and I was like, "Have I won?" And then she actually crossed the line. And I go, "Oh no, sorry, you got second." Like,
what's that feeling like? When you almost had it, and then it gets taken away from you.
Well, I was disbelieving because I guess I wasn't at all expecting that I'd win.
Yeah.
To get a medal was like my highest dream. So when they said to me, "You've won," I was like, "Really? Do you know who's coming in behind me?" So it wasn't a big shock to go, "No, you got second." But yeah, there was that fleeting moment of going, "Oh my God, rainbow jersey."
Apparently Laurent Fignon, after that second place finish at the Tour de France, when he was 8 seconds behind, if he walked from his front door to his letterbox, he'd count the paces. Oh, that's 8 seconds. Do you ever count out 4 seconds and realise how close it was to a rainbow jersey?
Yeah, but I mean, there's been world titles won by less than a second in the time trial, you know, so 4 seconds, it was a clear margin. And for me, that was then just the lead into Sydney Olympics, and okay, I have to find 4 seconds by, you know, the Sydney Olympics. So yeah, I was overjoyed with my medal.
Then what about the silver in the road race? Because you've gone across the finish line, you've won the bunch sprint.
Yeah.
What's that emotional reaction like?
Oh, that was unbelievable, that race, because that was in Verona, so it was quite hilly. We had a hill each lap, it was 7 laps. And I remember the 5th lap was when the smack really went down. And so I was sitting on Alison Sider's wheel, who was the mountain biker from Canada. And I remember she lost the bunch in front of her, she lost the wheel in front of her. And I was like, oh, someone else has got to come from behind. And I've turned around and looked behind, and there was nothing. So I'm like, okay, I'm either getting on by myself or it's game over. So then I buried myself over the top, and over the top we were all sort of 1s and 2s, and there were 14 left basically. And so I've just hammered down the descent and managed to get on, and we gradually reeled in everybody on that lap. And then it was 2 more climbs to go, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to survive this? And yeah, on the last climb, Puchinskaya just cleared out. She basically rode the big ring up the climb, I think.
Yeah.
And I had no chance, but came good in the sprint.
So 2 silver medals in '99. You then go to the Sydney Olympics as our protected rider. 2 fourth-place finishes.
Yeah, I know.
So close. Did you get a certificate for 4?
Yeah, you get a certificate.
That's insulting. So you get medals for the top 3 and you get a certificate for 4.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the junior burger and the minimum fries and a Coke for encouragement at junior football, isn't it?
Yeah, you get a certificate for 4th, 5th and 6th. So I've got two certificates.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
road
it
race
was
was in pouring
heartbreaking.
rain.
Yeah, it started out clear and then it poured during the race. And yeah, we had the big climb out of Bronte, but nothing really broke it up. And in the end, in the sprint, as I thought I was going to sneak in for a medal because Leontine was kind of unbeatable at the Olympics.
She won everything. She
won
won 3 gold medals.
3 gold medals and a silver in the points, didn't she?
Yeah,
Anyway.
so you got gold on the track in the individual pursuit,
Yeah.
the silver in the points race on the track, and she won the road race and the time
Yeah.
trial. Reasonable
She was
result.
unstoppable.
Yeah.
So she was gone, and it was sort of me and Zaluti were battling it out for 2nd and 3rd, so we thought. And then at the last moment, Kupfernagel's just come through over the top of both of us and claimed silver and put me in 4th. And yeah, I think you
That
can
must have been
see-
heartbreak. 4th.
Yeah, I had some words to say over the finish line, which you can still see.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and they
Slow
were fluent
motion.
French, were they?
Yeah, exactly.
But what in compensation, the Commonwealth Games, you got a gold medal in the time trial in '98.
Yeah, so that was
Does that
a
compensate for those near misses?
big, well, no, never compensates for Olympics.
No,
But
that's
that
true.
was a standout moment because that's where, you know, I won the time trial and Kathy Watt was 3rd. So there's a beautiful podium shot of us. And that was a massive deal at that time because Kathy Watt was the cyclist.
She was Australian cycling,
cyclist.
male or female.
Exactly.
She was the pinnacle.
And but we were in KL and I didn't realise because I started before her. But apparently she then got stuck in the toilets and ended up 30 seconds late to the start.
Yeah. So how much did you beat her by?
Yeah, well, so it was very important to me that I beat her by 50-something seconds.
So it wasn't that 30 seconds wasn't the
the 30
difference.
seconds didn't make the difference.
Yeah.
Although you never know what, you know, once you're 30 seconds late to your start.
What it does to you
Does that destroy your
psychologically.
race?
Yeah.
But it wasn't the first time, so...
No, she's got form, hasn't she? So she'd have been experienced with missing the start.
Yeah.
But you didn't miss the start when you did the hour record. It's really topical at the moment, the hour record.
Yeah, it's come back in vogue.
That must be a horrible experience.
That is the most painful thing I've ever done. It was
Eddie Merckx has said the same.
unbelievable. Yeah, and well, I did it twice, stupidly enough. I had the feeling the
Didn't
second
learn your
time
lesson the first time.
Yeah, I thought the second time round, I know what it's about, you know,
Yeah.
it won't be as bad. It was just as bad. But I did it first in 97 because 96 I'd been overseas with the team and I'd went to the Olympics and it was a massive year. And 97 I stayed home because I needed to do a year of articles to be fully qualified as a lawyer.
So you're juggling going to the Olympics and becoming a lawyer.
Exactly.
I hope you can't dance.
No, don't worry. So yeah, 97 I was at home and sort of needed another goal because I wasn't going to go to Worlds or anything. So yeah, I decided to have a go at the hour record, and I worked with Donna Ray-Zielinski for that. And yeah, went over to Adelaide Superdrome, had the super bike, had all the gear because at that time, you know, they hadn't changed the rules yet, so you could use all the aero gear.
And the best technology came out of West Heidelberg, in the northern suburbs of Melbourne.
Exactly.
Yeah, with the Santonettis. Fantastic.
Around the corner from me. So yeah, and everything, I was in really good form as well, and you know, had a good race. But I remember about the 50-minute mark, it was as if I'd suddenly been plunged into a
The sand
plunge
trap.
pool or something, and it's like all of a sudden I just felt like I was pedaling in slow motion, the legs seized up, and it was just like hanging on for dear life to get to the finish. And I actually can't remember if that was 97 or 2000, but when you do the hour record, when you go over the line and then the gun goes off to say the hour's over, you've got to finish the lap.
Why?
Because in order to calculate how far you've gone in the hour, they take the average of your last lap to see how many metres you ended up with.
Yeah.
And I remember, you know, I went over the line and the gun went off like
So you had another
1 second
250
later. So I had to
metres
do
to go.
another 250 metres to finish. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah. You like that it's back in vogue, the hour record, even though the rules have changed. I wish they'd just agree on the rules.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like they keep changing the rules, so you can't compare. So you get people setting a new record all the time because
Yeah.
it's a record under this rule or a record under that rule. So I think that's a bit of a shame because it should just be the gold standard. You know,
Yeah.
this is the 1 mark, and instead we've got about 5. But
Yeah. You did end the season twice, the world's #1 ranked cyclist, having won the World Cup. Is that the proudest, the thing that you're most proud of, that consistency across a full season?
I remember being at the Tour de Snowy when, must have been 99. And I remember I won a stage of the Tour de Snowy, and Jenny Shear came up to me and said, "You know that means you're now ranked #1 in the world." And I was like, "Really? Wow, I hadn't even turned my mind to that at that point."
Yeah.
And then, to finish the season ranked #1, that was pretty cool.
That's pretty special.
And you certainly look up the world rankings and see your name at the top. So,
That's got to be.
my
That's the
God.
nice Google search.
Yeah.
Anna Wilson, #1. That's a good result.
Yeah.
But your career was cut short because of injury.
Yeah, so I had, through 2001, I started having a lot of troubles with my right leg, and then 2002 I started the season late, I spent time at the AIS trying to work out what was going on. Never got to the bottom of it, and so in the end just went, "Stuff it, I'll just go anyway," and race, because I was just missing it so much.
Yep.
And I remember I went over then to the Tour of the Gila in the USA in Utah. And so I flew in there, and it was just so good to be back with the team and racing the races. And it was difficult for me. It was difficult for me then to be the #1 rider. So I did a lot more work for others in that time. But it was just so good to be back in the team.
Then your career did come to an end, and you became
Yeah.
a DS. You were a director with the
Yeah.
T-Mobile team. What was that like, sitting in the car, barking instructions? Come on, this is how I would have done it.
Yeah, so that I really learned a lot through that year. I was just DS for 1 year in 2007 because Christy Scrimger had the job with T-Mobile, and she suggested that they put me on as DS.
Like
for the
the
women's
former
team.
world's #1, who also happens to be a lawyer and is reasonably intelligent. Good decision by her.
Yeah, so huge learning curve to learn, just what a DS does, because I guess sitting in the car is sort of the least of it. You're really kind of the psychologist for the team, and what I learned was very important was going around to all of the riders at the end of every day and kind of finding out how they're feeling, what they're thinking about the next days, who they're really pissed off with in the team, and just trying to get everybody on the same page to work together to a goal. And so it took me, I think for the first half of the year I wasn't the best DS that there was, but I think in the second half I really picked it up and learned a lot and had some good success then pulling the team together, and that was really enjoyable.
How important is the company in the car? Because you're in the car for a long time. What was the relationship like with your mechanic?
Yeah, so we had a mechanic, was a German mechanic to start off with called Voller, and he was a bit of an explosive character, and so about August or maybe July even, he actually got the sack from the team. And
Did you have to give him the sack?
no, I didn't, Christy did.
Nice.
But he still held me responsible
Yeah.
because he thought that I was behind it as well as Christy. So from that moment on, we still had to do a couple of races together before he actually left, and he did not say one word to me in the car. So we'd be sitting in the car behind these races, and it'd be dead silence from the back seat, and I'd be like, breakaway, I'd go like, "Voller, who's in the breakaway?" And there'd be no
Nothing.
response, but I might just get a sheet of paper handed
Like a
up
scene
with
at a Fargo.
the numbers.
Brilliant.
So a bit tense.
Yeah. And now you're using that law degree. You're doing tax law.
Yep. So
Sounds thrilling.
It's generally a conversation killer when
Yeah.
people say, "What do you do?" I am a taxation lawyer. But it is very interesting, Matt.
I'm sure that it is. I believe me.
We-
So's
we-
going to the dentist. No, I'm only joking.
Yeah, we assist people to pay the appropriate amount of tax, and
That's what Kerry Packer thought as well.
we're on their side when the tax office comes looking. So I really enjoy it, and there's a politics involved in it as well. All the actual reasons behind the tax law, and the budget every year is then interesting what they're doing. So I like it.
Well, what has been interesting has been watching your career. And I've been lucky enough to watch most of it. And hopefully we can get you out to Buninyong and you can show off that green and gold around your neck one more time. Thanks
Yeah,
for
no
joining
doubt.
us.
No worries. Thanks, Matt.